This is the Fox 61 Morning News.
And also coming up this morning, trends in the media, how they influence and shape our lives. We'll take a look at some of the hot changes for 2010. Thank you, Logan. And that could be something very interesting for this year as well. Now, trends in the media seem to influence the way a handful of Americans shape their lives lately. Now, from children being used as props for reality TV to relaying your every thought to so-called friends on social networking sites, it seems that everyone is a brand. Well, will the new year bring changes in the trends and the ways that we shape our lives? Trend spotter Marian Salzman is here with her take on 2010 or 2010. So that's the big question first. What is it?
I think we're going to probably have to stick with 2010 because we want to shorthand everything.
Exactly. So I'll go with 2010. We were just talking in the break briefly about the whole political change here now with Dodd, and you're saying that that is going to be a trend too.
Well, yeah, I think that Connecticut is going to sit perhaps as the center of the national universe, a little bit like Virginia. But first of all, Senator Dodd stepping away. Clearly, there's going to be a big Senate race, a governor's race, and then the race against Senator Lieberman, which I think is going to be a three-way declaration for how do people really feel about President Obama. I think we saw it a little bit in the Stamford mayoral race, which I think had nothing to do with the candidates and everything to do with people turning the change message against the Obama administration. They just didn't want change the way change was being stated. I feel like this is going to put all spotlights on what's happening here. I think you're going to see all new candidates rise. I mean, I think we're going to have to ask ourselves, where does the young Ted Kennedy sit in the mix? I mean, is he the guy to take on Lieberman?
So we're going to really have to take a look at the new candidates that are starting to come in.
Absolutely.
And really kind of do our homework.
Do our homework. Also look at our media. I think local media here is going to have an enormous pull. I think you're going to suddenly find yourselves on the national stage reporting kind of as first reporters.
Interesting. So what else do we have to look forward to for this year?
I think the balloon boy has really, finally we've kind of come to the place where we know what really is bad parenting.
Okay.
We thought that David Letterman showed us what was bad husbandry, but no, Tiger Woods brought us to a new level. But the balloon boy really convinced us that you cannot exploit your children to a certain level. And in all seriousness, I think there's going to be a pushback in terms of we are no longer going to tolerate people putting their kids out there beyond normal childhood. We may allow kids to grow up earlier than ever before. We may suddenly say 13, 14 years old is more like an adult, but we're not going to allow kids to be exploited that way.
I mean, do you really think that this could possibly down the future lead to, you know, more laws being put into effect about children and the way that people are parenting and rules and restrictions about what kids can and cannot do?
Parenting is the last domain. I think it's the one thing you will not excuse your neighbor for is being a lousy parent. I think it's one thing you will not overlook. If you see if you see somebody doing something that you just will not tolerate, you see a corporation exploiting a child. We've just had it. John and Kate started it. The Octomom exaggerated it. And the Balloon Boy's parents just ended it. Even J. Crew suddenly. We love J. Crew, but they're just doing too much of selling us whatever the Obama children are wearing. Enough already. Yes, I do think there's going to be guidelines, if not legislation, saying enough already. Protect the kids.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, we're now going to toss things over to Joe Fury to see what the weather looks like in 2010.